Did you come here legally?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
But you know,
it's our country though, and I think it's very important when immigrants do come here, their allegiance is to America, not to the other country that they're from.
I also served in the military as well too. So I've been on that front where I've seen, defending America's values, going through different terms of presidents, and just I 100% believe that America needs to preserve the values and the traditions, because it's why we all come here, right? For a better life. It's what makes America America. Not a perfect country, right? But there's definitely, I need to preserve also some of my culture as well too.
Absolutely.
Why? Because it's my identity.
Because, I have an accent and people think, I don't like when people ask those questions like, oh, did you cross the border? Or did you come here legally? If I'm here and, in a media outlet, yes, because, if I was out of status, I would never come here, because then I would be a huge target.
Some immigrants should get the path to citizenship.
but there is a path. There is a path. You go back to your country and you get in line. There is a path.
In today's episode, we're bringing together two very different groups of women: MAGA women who strongly identify with America First movement, and immigrant women who have made the U.S. their home. We'll explore how their experiences, values, and beliefs shape the way that they see America and each other. Will they clash? Will they connect? Or will we uncover surprising common ground? Let's find out. Welcome to The Bridge.
I'm Lori Mills, and I am ultra MAGA.
I'm June Dubriel, and I'm MAGA.
I'm Melissa Falcone, you can call me Missy, and I'm MAGA.
I'm a MAGA mom and grandmother, and my name is Eve Parsa.
Well, my name is Jenya, and I'm sitting in the middle because, that reflects the fact that I'm trying to stay in the middle while still leaning right.
My name is Anika Garcia, and I'm an immigrant.
I'm Joyce Clemens, and I am immigrant too.
I am Sio Izuka, and I am an immigrant woman.
And the first prompt is, America was better in the past than it is today.
I have no opinion. Well, I first of all, I'm an immigrant. I don't know what the past of this country was, so I have no idea, and I don't think I should have a judgment on that, so that's why, I don't know. I've lived here for 10 years. It's a great country. I love this country. I call this country home, and I'm not qualified to talk about its past.
For me, I really feel that we live in a fantastic country. I think that all countries have challenges. I do believe that in today's society, even though I agree that our country is great, that we're facing a challenge lately where we're all being stuck into boxes and we're not communicating as we should. And I think that we can all find middle ground with topics and things in life. I think we all love our families, but the division in our country I would love to see end. And so that's just how I feel about it. But this is, in my opinion, the greatest country in the world because it is a melting pot of all of us.
Well, the question, I think, was America better in the past than it is today? And I said I disagree. I think that America's better today than it was in the past. As a conservative, a conservative means I want to conserve the things that in the culture that are valid and good, and that are a basis for. I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's just put it that way. I believe our Constitution, our founding fathers gave us a great country to build from, and gave us guardrails. So, but even then we had challenges, obviously in the past when our nation was founded, and we've moved past some of the things. Women didn't vote, we vote now. We obviously had slavery, we abolished slavery. I mean, we can see that even with the Constitution being the founding document, it is held fast for 250 years, and we've still become better with it. So that's where I say we're better now than we were in the past, but I treasure the Constitution of which our country was founded.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that we've come such a long way. You mentioned women voting. Women got the right to vote in 1919. That wasn't that long ago. We have come such a long way, but there is still so much progress that we need to make as a country. And I think it is better now than it was in the past. I think every day is a step in the right direction, and we're continuing to improve, and we're continuing to get a little bit better every day.
And to add to that, why we're better is because we can be more educated because of the information highway. We can make better decisions. We are more informed. Therefore, our attitudes and our choices are different now because of information.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say to your point, so I've been here in this country for, this year will be 30 years.
Hey.
Congratulations.
And so, so I feel a little qualified to speak on some stuff.
Sure.
But like you said, the whole information highway and how I'm from a small country in the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago. And so at the time, nobody knew much about it, right? And so now with internet, with just more globalization, like people know. It's more celebrated now. Whereas before, there are things that I couldn't get across. I'm like, well, who the heck knows about that? So for that being said, yes, this country has much more opportunities, more welcoming of cultures. And then, you know, the American dream, I believe it's still in there. Why people are still coming here. It is one of the best countries in the world. I agree, right? And so, so yeah, just wanted to add that in there. Very colorful place to be.
So I came from Brazil. I immigrated here in 2018. And I think right now, with everything that it has been happening, immigration and economic-wise, I think right now it's a little worse. So my perspective, it's only from the economy point of view. I think from 2018, because that's what I have lived here in the US, was a little bit better than what's going on right now, economic and also with the immigration.
Did you come here legally?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I think that might be where we have a little bit of a disconnect. My husband's an immigrant. He's been here for 27 years. I have a huge problem with what happened over the Biden administration, where millions of people flooded across our country from all over the world, and they were unvetted. And the Biden administration lost 350,000 children in our country, 14 of which were found in my community. So I welcome legal immigrants. I welcome people being vetted and making this their home and us all coming together. I think that there's a huge danger when we just open the borders. I know he entered us into what's called the Global Compact of Migration with the UN, and they were just flooding our country. 10 miles from here, they found an Iranian terrorist cell. In Long Beach, they just found an ISIS fighter with a bomb. So when it comes to immigration, I think that might be where there might be a little bit of a disconnect here, because I welcome all legal immigrants, but there needs to be a process and people need to come and assimilate.
But there is a process that the US allow people to cross the border and file for their case. You know that, right?
But that's the problem. That's the problem, because I've been on both sides of that coin, and I know how many years it had taken to bring my husband from Iran and family members. And to skip the line by that border is where I believe we have the problem, because it's like you're in the grocery store and you're cutting in front of somebody after waiting for a half an hour. It's the same principle. We have to have those safe borders, just not because we looked like we are racist or we get caught up as MAGA women looking like we're prejudiced and racist, but actually all we really are is protective and follow the line and the rules. That's, I think, where we get misunderstood.
Yeah.
I would like to suggest she was talking about is about the legal process. You can show up at the border and ask for the asylum.
By our failed.
But the
failed
different thing is
administration.
just to crossing what you're talking about, crossing just without showing up at the border point. So it's
Yeah,
it's
so
important.
you
it's
can
important
you can
difference.
actually cross the border, and then they recommend you to file for asylum.
Yes.
I came here. I don't know if you know, but there are a lot of Americans that go to other countries looking for a wife, and that was my case. I was brought here by a white American, a citizen, and they abused me. He abused me, and and his parents abused me. So just so you know, there are a lot of women that come here thinking they're gonna have a better life, a family. That was my case. And then they use you, they abuse you.
I'm so sorry that happened.
That's-
Like
Yes.
you have no rights, you know,
Well,
just so
and
you know.
I'm
What was
sorry
his
that
culture?
happened to you. I can say I've reported on this for a long time. What happened to you should not have happened. And I hope that those that abused you were
Yes.
prosecuted. And they should be. I will say, talking to Tim Ballard, who actually is on a rescue mission of children in Brazil right now, he had talked to the president of Honduras and of Guatemala, and both had said in the year 2020, your government is stealing our children. They are trafficking our children into your border. And so for me, the biggest concern right now, these are your kids. I want to find these children that have been raped. Talking to J.J. Carroll, president of he was the chief border patrol agent in San Diego sector. Some of these kids have been organ harvested. In Tijuana, they just found an extermination camp. Coming to our border illegally, and with Biden's catch and release, a lot of people came into this border that we don't know who they are. Jeff Rainforth reported at the border for 2 years. He found passports from Mauritania, one guy that was on the terrorist watch list, from Afghanistan. This isn't just Hispanic people crossing our border. They were coming from China, from all over the world. What happened during the Biden administration was the worst border crisis we had ever seen in US history. And Donald Trump ended that. And now we've got a problem because we've got a lot of unvetted people here. So I'm not talking about your situation. What I'm talking about were these kids. And we collectively, if we can't stand together and say, you know what, we need to find these kids, we don't deserve a country as far as I'm concerned.
I'm curious, was your background, your husband's background, what culture background are they from? Are they also Brazilian?
No, he's not a white American.
He's an American.
American.
He's a citizen, yeah.
So the question, obviously is about whether America was better in the past, but I think it's also important that America protects some of its traditions and its customs and values. And that's the purpose, I think, of assimilation, that immigration over time, in the past, we would take a certain amount of immigrants because the idea was that it gave proper time for different cultures to assimilate into an American culture, which is very different than any culture in the world because we are a melting pot. But there are certain traditions that we do have. We celebrate the 4th of July. We usually celebrate, things that are about liberty and freedom. And ultimately our traditions circle around our Constitution and what makes us a free people. And I think when we look at our holidays, that's what that is about. And we are a Judeo-Christian country and founded on Judeo-Christian principles. And I think, we do celebrate Christmas. It's a commercialized event maybe, but it's also, I think, a tradition that kind of, again, speaks to our founding and to our Constitution, that it says, we are found, we understand that God is part of creating this great country. So we don't necessarily want to separate God from the creation of the country. Our founders believed that and it was very important to them. And that doesn't mean that we should have freedom of religion, freedom to gather in the faiths that are in our culture or where we come from. But there's a difference between freedom of religion and freedom from religion. And I think that we're in this culture war now that says we need to take God out of everything because it's too offensive. And that is part of our tradition, is to believe that God is somehow part of this country and how it was founded. And that doesn't mean that anybody can't celebrate their own particular faith or choose not to, believe in anything. But it is part of our culture and our tradition.
Our foundation.
And our foundation.
But at the same time, Constitution, Bill of Rights says that you have a right to practice any religion you choose or not to practice a religion at all.
Absolutely.
And that's interesting. And I kind of want to pick up on that. I'm not sure, guys, how long you've been here for a while. About you, I don't know how you guys long been here. I've been here for 10 years, and for me, the question of identity, finding my new identity, is very interesting for me because I grew up in Russia. For 30 years, I'm Russian to my core. I'm so Russian, even though now I'm holding an American citizen, and technically I'm Russian American, Russian descent. No, I'm even Russian American. I still kind of, I'm learning and leaning and understanding and finding this American identity within myself. So it's very interesting thing because, yes, Bill of Rights, Constitution, you come as a new American citizen, you agree on that. You accept that part of the culture, and that's what's exciting about this country. The rights, how the system works protecting the rights, but then at the same time, you want to, I cannot be fully like yourself, grow up, even though we're both blonde and wearing blue. I cannot be fully, I am a fully American. I'm an American citizen, but I cannot, culturally, I'm still so Russian. And, it's interesting how this works generally in this country, because in Los Angeles, we have Koreatown, we have Chinatown. There is a lot of, and it looks like by design, a lot of people who live in Chinatown, Koreatown, Little Armenia, they don't even speak English. So it is interesting how that balance. It's a new country, and it's still looking for that balance to find within bringing new identities and building that American identities. And new identities are often way older. Immigrant identities are often way older than American identity. So
correct, but
it's our country though, and I think it's very important when immigrants do come here, their allegiance is to America, not to the other country that they're from. You can still have a dual allegiance, but we don't want to be destroyed from within. We need to love this country. We need to work together. And I do hope that people that do live here from other countries do learn to speak English, because we need to be united. And if we can't even talk together, how can we be united?
Hey friends, let's talk really quick about something that could seriously change your life if you were to ever get hurt. When you're seriously injured, whether it's a car accident, a slip, a fall, or something totally unexpected, your case could actually be worth millions. But here's the catch. Some insurance companies love to lowball you, like insultingly low. That's where Morgan & Morgan comes in. They are America's largest injury law firm, with over 1,000 attorneys across all 50 states. And they've been fighting for regular people for over 30 years. This is not your average law firm. Just listen to this. They recently won $12 million in Florida. That's 34 times more than the insurance offer. $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times what was originally offered. And $6.8 million in New York. Again, way more than the insurance company wanted to pay. That's real money that changes lives. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. And here's the best part. It's 100% free unless they win your case. No upfront costs, no risk. Just real legal help when you need it the most. So if something happens, do not wait. Protect yourself. It only takes a few minutes to see if you even have a case. Did you know that you can start a claim with America's largest injury law firm in just a click? It's so easy. You can head over to www.forthepeople.com/DAF or just click the link in the description. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. And the second prompt is, I believe immigrants should fully assimilate into American culture.
Yes.
If I understood correctly, I came from Korea. My God, I'm shaking. Okay,
It's all good, honey.
excuse me.
South Korea?
South Korea, yes. I came to America because my friend, she married to same Korean, but he was a citizen in America. So she became a citizen too, but then she missed Korea. So she called me all the time. So I ended up just visiting her. And then she enticed me for just to stay here. She could pay me for, if I work with her at the cleaner shop, she could pay me some big amount. So I believed that. And then I stay, and then she lied about that. But then I got upset, and then I didn't want to go back to Korea because America is such a nice place to live. So I'm like, I want to do something good here. So I stay, and then I overstayed, and then I've been hiding, but then I trying to fit in this country, trying to not destroy the laws and regulations. I trying to live nicely. So yeah.
Can I ask you a question? The person that brought you here, do you feel that they brought you here under false pretenses? And are you now taking a path to try to get your citizenship?
No,
Because I
actually-
think, really quick, I think both sides of the aisle have failed you.
Yeah.
I think that Democrats and Republicans have used this as a political issue for a very long time. We need immigration reform. That I will completely agree with. But did you feel that they tricked you to?
No, I came to America legally, which is I went to embassy, got a passport, and I got an interview, and I just came here for visiting. And then they gave me 3 months to stay, but I just passed.
You overstayed your
yeah,
visa.
that's how I became an illegal. But then after 10 years later, I got married to American, so I became a citizen.
Oh, nice.
But,
So then
that's great.
I am immigrant, but then I like to live here for good life. So then I should follow the rule.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I don't know if you guys know, but as an immigrant, you need to follow the rules, even to get your U.S. citizenship. You cannot have DUI. You cannot be with criminal things. You cannot be involved in those things. So they do a very rough and thorough background on you.
I believe that all of you are making huge efforts and love this country. I have no doubt in my mind that you're working to assimilate. I know that it seems to me that Joyce loves this country and wants to honor our laws, and I think the same is true for all of you. I think that it's hard coming from a different country and with different traditions and languages, and I don't think anybody wants, at least when I think of MAGA, we don't want anyone to give up that which makes them special and unique. I mean, our First Lady, Melania, is an immigrant. So I think we all understand that we can, my family immigrated from Poland. Now, I'm not married to an immigrant, but I am third generation Polish. So I know that those traditions that my grandparents had and my father had still kind of stay with me, but they're fading, obviously, because I'm making new traditions with my family. So I think they're beautiful. All everything where you come from, your traditions make our country so much better. And I think that the divide that we're seeing is really about illegal immigration. And granted, Joyce, you said when you came, you overstayed your visa, but you found a way to work through that. And I think that's what we want. We want all immigrants to embrace and assimilate into our culture, maintaining their own and finding your own way uniquely as you live here and grow your families and your careers. Those things will develop, and I know that we all welcome that.
Coming off of what Joyce mentioned, her overstaying on her visa, I also did that as well. So when my mother came here, she immigrated as a nanny, live-in nanny. And so she went through the process of getting a green card and whatnot. Then I came here. And so in the midst of that, in a perfect world, it would be nice to go from visa to get your citizenship, but that didn't happen. And so both times it expired, both times I had to go out of the country. And so with that being said, seeing everything, the landscape of what's going on today, if this was 20 years ago, I would be caught in that. And the humbling thing about it is that I knew my mother did what she needed to do, right? And so how the cards lay, if INS or ICE came in and they could see a track record of, right? Because she respected the values here and getting stuff done right, right? I agree. I don't agree with the whole illegal, like blatantly coming in here and just, okay. I also served in the military as well too.
Oh, thank you
for your
service.
I don't know how to respond. Well, you're welcome. But I decided to do that, and I don't know how to respond to that all the time. But so I've been on that front where I've seen, defending America's values, going through different terms of presidents and just seeing that there. And mind you, I was a citizen by the time I came in, which people kind of wondered, did you come into the service to get citizenship? And people go that route, right? And there's a means for it, right? Yeah. And so I 100% believe that America needs to preserve the values and the traditions, because it's why we all come here, right? For a better life. It's what makes America America. Not a perfect country, right? But there's definitely, I need to preserve also some of my culture as well too.
Absolutely.
Why? Because it's my identity.
Absolutely.
And through the years, it's been 30 years, right? So I came when I was young, became 21 here, got married here, and now I'm a mom, right? Oh. And so a lot of changes in my life, but I'm really coming to realize, where's that root? And my root always goes back to my home island. Just the lifestyle I had there as a child, and I'm pulling more from that now. Maybe because I'm a mom now, maybe because I'm married now, different season, right? But still holding that American flag. Like, hey, this is the opportunity that was given to my mother to come here, right? Same for me, and now my daughter, I get to teach her both. But I dare not disrespect the flag. And it's not because there's a military background there, it's just kind of like, I can't bite the hand that's feed me, right? Nice. And I look back at my home country and I see a similar immigration going on there as well too. And it's just like, well, let's not lose our identity, bring it in. A whole bunch of, and I get it, the whole globalization, we're modernizing and all these things, but we have to hold on to our identity. That's what makes us, we have to fight for that.
So I actually feel the pressure to change, for example, my accent, right? I'm actually taking accent reduction classes because I feel that if you don't speak like an American, I can be a target. People might think that I came here illegally or I didn't do the process. I was actually doing a gig in downtown LA and when the ICE thing was going on in LA. And production was worried about me because they were like, oh, a friend of mine was just taken in downtown LA just walking. And he was actually an American citizen, but he didn't have his ID on him. So production was like, we are gonna walk you back to your car because we don't want, if you ask for information and if someone hears your accent, you might be a target. So I do right now feel the pressure to reduce my accent, to fit in the culture more or kind of be respected. And sometimes in conversations with American citizens, I do feel that people don't respect me just because I have an accent. So just my point of view.
Yeah, well, I'm going to just
sharing.
say to you, your accent is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And don't change who you are as a
Absolutely
person.
not.
I would never expect you to.
I just
And-
wanted to give a perspective, like the pressure that I feel right now.
But
you know.
I think it's coming from different people. It's coming from a perspective of people. We're all MAGA. If I ever heard you talk, it's a beautiful accent. Don't lose it. My husband has an accent. That part of the culture, foods, Trinidad, hello, best food in the world. I had a great friend from Trinidad that, boy, was she a cook. But those are the beauties of your nature. But that doesn't mean you can't come to America and love America. That doesn't mean you can't assimilate. I respect your accent. I think you're a beautiful girl. You've got a beautiful accent. Don't change that for anybody.
I'm curious, where's your husband from?
He's an Australian.
Hey.
We definitely don't want him to change his accent.
Oh no, we like his accent very much, and he gets thicker when he's around other Aussies. I can't even understand him then.
Can I add to this? So basically, that's what was my issue with the previous question about the fully assimilation, and you guys said yes, and some of us said no. Because where is the fully assimilation is? Should I forget my language? Should I
No.
lose my identity? But
No.
you see, that's tricky, you know? So fully, no. Yes, we should be assimilated. We should be agreeing on the basics, constitutions, loving this country, appreciating the opportunity. But I don't want to be an American, fully American, fully white American with no accent. I love who I am.
Right. It's funny because you say that. When I was thinking of my paddle, I really struggled with which direction to turn it for the very reason that you just said. Because when you say the word fully really changed that question.
Yep. Yeah.
But yet in the environment that we're in right now, which is, because we have so much illegal immigration that we have to deal with. I think I felt more forced to say fully, because I don't want any of you to lose the things that make you special, because that's what makes America great.
And that's why we're here today having this conversation, to get out of the black and white, right? To hear
Yes.
the in-between. So that's all.
Hi, loves. It's me again, Dr. Michelle Daff. We've really been enjoying producing these meaningful conversations on the Dr. Daff Show. However, they are very costly to produce with our large team, equipment, audio, studio, and cast, and everything else that goes on behind the scenes. If you've been enjoying these thought-provoking conversations and want to support what we're doing here, I would love for you to check out my fragrance brand, Find Forever. Find Forever is more than just a fragrance brand. It is a celebration of faith, purpose, and beauty. We currently have 3 signature scents, each inspired by a unique Bible scripture, and has with its own story and meaning. First, we have 2911, inspired by the scripture Jeremiah 29:11. It is a delicate yet vibrant fragrance that combines lush florals with soft, sweet undertones. It is a celebration of gratitude and the blessings that unfolds when we walk in faith. Next is Silent Storm, inspired by Psalm 107, 28, and 29. It is a bold, captivating scent that balances strength and serenity. With warm woods and a touch of spice, it is a reminder to find peace and purpose, even in life's storms. And lastly, we have Mustard Seed, inspired by Matthew 17:20. It is a fresh and uplifting fragrance inspired by faith and growth. It opens with bright citrus and soft florals, symbolizing the beauty of small beginnings and the incredible potential within. Every purchase directly supports this show and helps us to keep bringing you meaningful content. So if you're looking for a signature scent that not only smells amazing, but also carries a message of faith and empowerment, then you can visit findforever.com and shop now. Your support means the world to me, and I truly believe that these fragrances will bless you as much as they've blessed me.
And the next prompt is, without immigrants, America's economy would collapse.
I'm not sure.
I'm not economist. I'm not
Between-
qualified. Sorry.
I'm
I
not
will
sure.
stay away from this.
Without immigrants, our economy, I don't believe, would collapse. The reason being is we have so many people that are on the welfare or social system, and there are opportunities for everyone to work. But unfortunately, we have given these classified jobs or unclassified jobs to maybe possibly lower educated people or people who don't have the education to be able to be in upper level type of careers. We have enough people, American citizens, to be able to work in all of these fields. So I believe we have allowed immigrants to be lesser in the work instead of upgrading them. I believe that as American citizens, we should have a system to where the people of America can work in any kind of a job, lower, middle, upper, and work themselves up. I think it's a rotation. And because of our system, we've allowed people to stay immigrant status and that one level by not allowing them to educate themselves, speak the language, create opportunities for them to educate themselves. So no, I don't believe that immigrants are going to be, America would be less because of non-immigration.
I kind of want to piggyback on what Eve is saying. Just to clarify, I think the uniparty, both parties, the ruling class in Washington, D.C., and even in the state, particularly California, they have allowed on both sides this kind of, they want a certain amount, I believe, economically, of illegal immigration. Not legal, I'm talking the illegal status. Yeah. And you've heard this time and time again, I'm sure you've seen these clips. Who's gonna mow my lawn? Who's gonna pick our fruit and vegetables? And I find that very telling because, there have been many times in the Central Valley where we do a lot of agriculture where American citizens were working in the packing plants and American citizens were doing these jobs, and they would say, well, nobody wants to do that anymore. And I would agree that there is probably need for immigration, but the question was, would our economy collapse without immigration? And I believe that question means legal and illegal. I'm going to take it to be comprehensive. And I believe we have enough people in this country right now, and as Eve was saying, that we need time to assimilate everyone, to adjust to a technological economy, which is going to have a lot of AI attributed to it. We need to educate people that are here that have been failed by the public school system, some that can't have graduated without reading and proper writing skills. We have a lot of catching up to do. Right. Yeah. So if we had no immigration, I believe, in the next 5 years, let's just say, put a time limit on it, and just worked on dealing with the issues that we have here now, I think we would be fine, and I do not think it would collapse our economy.
Do you mean both legal and no legal or illegal immigration?
I'm saying, because the way the question was worded, it says, without immigration, would our economy collapse?
So even legal immigration, you think?
I think we have time, because we have so much even illegal immigration that we're going to have to deal with too. I mean, we don't know the numbers. It could be 20 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot, and we don't know who they are, and maybe we'll find out who they are, but we may choose, are we gonna be able to deport 20, 30 million people? Maybe, maybe not, but we need to assimilate those folks.
Right. And let's not forget the legal immigrants who do come in, they come in with a very positive attitude. They come in, even they can have the most education in their country, but they're willing to be dishwashers or bartenders or whatever just to get going in life. They are willing, they're ready, willing, and able to do it. And I've seen that more than once. I'm a new immigrant, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to further myself when I come to America. So I think as Americans, we have forgotten about what it takes to work the ground up and then we start from here, we want to go up here, and there are steps. And I think legal immigrants understand that. They're willing to get their hands dirty.
Well, there's like, that's kind of like that microwave mentality, right? Like, I want it right now.
Yeah,
And so,
right.
to your point, I love gardening, and so it's something I'm kind of starting to get back to. But not everybody wants to go get strawberries, right? Not everybody wants to go do the construction work and whatnot. And I'm kind of thinking about like my husband's industry. He's in construction, and so there's a shortage of skilled workers there, right? And so there's this, would I believe the economy would collapse right away? No, but it would hurt. It would hurt.
Sure.
Because you have people coming here that they are in these skilled works jobs and whatnot, and they're trying to survive. So they're gonna put their all out there to do what they need to do. Now for the Americans that are here, that have been here, that want the white collar jobs, that want the high paying coming out of school, right? They want the 100K jobs right away. Well, that takes time to get to that. And let's not forget how expensive, like in California, it is to be here. So that job, yeah, I may be good at landscaping, but I'm not doing that, but I'll leave it for whoever, right? And so, how I see it is like, no, we need more. It would hurt. It would hurt. You know, our strawberries would be like $20 per pound, right? If you have an American going out and doing it, they want benefits, they want vacation, they want the right work hours. If it's hot, if I need a break, you know. So it's just for the ones that are coming here. I know there's some illegal immigrants there doing that on the field as well too, and I'm not going to go into the specifics because I'm not the employer. I don't know, but I absolutely feel like, yeah, no, they still need to come, but make a way for them to become legal, right? Because it's cheaper to have them here. That's the reason why
they're going to become legal and they're going to become expensive.
So,
you know,
let's be real though, not everybody that came here illegally is working in the farm.
Right.
A lot of those people were being put up at the Roosevelt Hotel, which used to be $1,000 a night hotel in New York City on our tax dollar. Now, as far as would our economy collapse, June made a really good point with the AI. Even now, we're gonna watch a lot of jobs go away. You know, I think about even bookkeepers or paralegals. A lot of these jobs may not be available in the future, and I think our school systems, which are way overpriced, has failed the children and failed the next generation because they're not being trained in trade skills and to build anything. America used to build things. We're not building things anymore. So,
and that's part of the Trump administration, is this huge investment all over the world into the United States for AI development, industrialization, making things here in the States again. And we need to make things here for national security. I mean, I think we saw during COVID, we saw that our medicines, a lot of the things that we rely on are, you know, being made in China or other countries. And these are things that need to be made here for our citizens. And so I think that we're in a transitional phase. And so the question originally was, could the economy survive without immigrants? And I believe in the short term, I don't know, I'm not saying I can't project, you know, very far in advance, but I would say in the short term, yes, because we have so many changes happening, and we need to get skilled labor. Like you were saying in your husband's field, my husband is a contractor, and but all of our children became college educated and are doing what I would consider more managerial, those kinds of jobs. But they could have easily been trained as a skilled worker, as an electrician or a plumber, and done very well too, and maybe even better than they are in their more payroll, you know, jobs. So there's a lot of transitioning happening, and I think it's okay to put a pause and let this economy transition into this new age that is coming. You know, we've had an industrial age. We're moving into a hyper technological age, and it's coming. And it's going to take, I think, a pause for us to make that adjustment.
And the next prompt is, America should have stricter immigration laws.
So the question was, should America have stricter immigration laws? No.
I agree.
As I'm a legal immigrant all the way through, I came here legally with a student visa, then I got lucky, I won a green card. But it took me 10 years,
Yeah.
10 years of constant,
hard.
for coming in here, getting the visa was extremely difficult. Then going through the whole 10 years, no DUIs, no breaking, not even little misdemeanors, because you'll have to answer to the immigration officer. They're gonna ask you why, what, you'll have to have a justification. So America has pretty well immigration laws as they are, in my opinion.
See, I think both sides.
I wanna say that I don't know. I think some of you are not aware of the immigration process. I know a lot of illegal immigrants or people out of status, that the way I think the word should be. They don't have food stamps. I know a lot of people, they don't have food stamps at all. To have food stamps, because I was on it. Because when I got married to my ex-husband, and then I was abused and used by him and also his parents, I had to run away. And then I had to apply for, I was in the green card process with him through marriage. And then I had to apply for VAWA, which is a visa for abused spouses by American citizens. I didn't have any money.
Right.
I was working for Bank of America, making $16 an hour. I couldn't leave. How do you live in California with $16 an hour? You don't. So it was given to me the right to have health care and also food stamps. And when you apply for food stamps, you have to prove your legal status. You have to send it out, all the USCIS immigration forms. So they do a background check on you. The people that I see popping kids, like you said, living off food stamps that I see on social media are most Americans.
Some are.
It's impossible to get food stamps. Do you know someone that is getting food stamps and doesn't have a legal status? I don't, because all my out-of-status friends, they are not on food stamps whatsoever.
May I say something? I think both sides of the aisle have failed us on this issue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans, they have
Absolutely.
used it as a political poker chip.
Yep.
It took a lot of money and a lot of legal fees for my husband to get citizenship, and he didn't come here because he married me. He came on a work visa. I think that even now we are watching. In 2018, Donald Trump wanted to streamline DACA kids.
Yep.
And because the Democrats didn't want to fund the border wall, they shut it down because they like using it as a political tool.
Right.
And I believe that we should have a program for people that want to come here, that want to love America, that want to love this country, that want to work here, a merit-based system where people can come here and live the dream. I do believe in that. But I think in so many ways, both sides of the aisle have used this as a political cudgel to the detriment
Of the
to
people.
people that want to be here.
Right.
So,
And when you said as far as assistance, we do know in the state of California that
Yes.
illegals were receiving Medicare, $19 billion worth of Medicare to illegals. Now it's different. I think the difference is you all are coming as immigrants or have done your best, either whether you were in status or out of status, to stay in the process, that arduous, grueling process to become American citizens. So I am my paddle was, yes, it's too hard. It's made, and yet and that's what's forcing people to live in the shadows.
Yeah.
To not go through the process. In my business, I owned a restaurant, and we tried so hard to get a lot of our employees to be American citizens and get them through the process. And it was so difficult that living as an illegal is easier than it is to try to, because of the money and the attorneys, they don't have access to these things. So the system definitely needs to be streamlined. But because the past administration, the Biden administration, we don't know how many millions
20 million.
of unvetted illegal immigrants into this country. Unfortunately, we're having to use a chainsaw instead of a scalpel and especially in the state of California, as far as determining who needs to be deported, who's maybe just, here working but is out of status. It's hard to know because of SB 54, the police don't know the criminal status of anybody because there's a separation. I'm going to let Lori, I think.
Yeah, SB 54 is a California law that is horrible. It does not allow local law enforcement to work with ICE. So what happens?
Sanctuary city.
It has.
Is it sanctuary
It's the
city?
sanctuary city. But what did that cause? It caused ICE to go into the community instead of going to the jails to pick up criminal aliens.
Right.
And I would just recommend everybody here, call your legislator and say amend this bill, because then the people in the public, they're not going to be at Home Depot, they're going to be at the jail.
Right.
And it has pushed them into the community.
But people at Home Depot, they are trying to make money, right?
Yeah, but ICE wouldn't be there if they were picking up criminals in the jail. Our state legislature has pushed them into the community because our local law enforcement, who know who the bad guys are, cannot communicate with ICE. Kind of like if you go back to what happened during 9/11. Our intel agencies weren't communicating
with each other.
So what happens? Epic failures.
And it's done by design.
Yeah.
Because the politicians need a political football, and
They need something to run on.
They use people and immigrants as part of their. That's their issue. So they're not interested in solving the issue. It also often feels like homelessness. They just keep it going because if they were to solve it, then they wouldn't. It's like, what do you need me for, right? But we should be. Our politicians should be looking to serve the people and solve the problems, but they're not looking to solve problems, it seems to me.
And it kills me, and I have to say this really quick, and I'll be fast, because with what has gone on and the demonization of ICE is wrong. These are federal law enforcement officers. And for people that are out there protesting and rioting against that, they need to recognize they are breaking federal law, which could be 5 to 20 years in prison. These officers are the ones that go in to find the trafficked children. They are the ones that go in and bust terrorist cells, which has happened twice locally right around here. If not for these ICE officials, who's going to find the kids? Who's going to find the terrorist cells? Who's going to find the 2 rapists and child molester that were found at Glass
But they are
House
not
Farms?
only targeting criminals.
Because of SB 54.
Correct.
Okay, but who votes for that?
Democrats.
So the thing is, normally if they go into the community, because they say they are targeted, they have warrants and they're targeting specific people, but if they find in the place of where they found a supposed criminal that they have been warrant for the other people, they round
everyone
up. Because, it just, they're all illegal, they're rounding them up. If she's saying if they would go only to prisons, if the state would allow them to do that, they will be, so it will allow to avoid, that craziness that's happened. With that said, in my opinion, every power, especially unlimited power, comes with abuse.
Absolutely.
So ICE, with generally being, yes, federal law enforcement that we have to abide by law because we're part of this country, they have to be more transparent. Because there is a lot of transparent in what they do and explaining how they're using their power. I'm thinking about those shots. I've been a TV journalist, a field journalist for 8 years, and I saw ICE officer shooting a rubber bullet in a reporter, on air. So there is a lot of power comes with abuse.
What rate was that where the violence was happening in the riots?
In downtown LA, she was.
That was extremely violent on the other side, and they were masked
I'm talking about the report. There's the shots online about the reporter doing her job and being shot with a rubber bullet by the ICE. And I am, as a journalist, have been actually arrested covering Trump first win by the law. So there's a lot of. My point is, for every law enforcement, the power should come with a demand for transparency, because it's very natural to abuse power, especially when you have such a huge, behemoth of power.
And the next prompt is, immigrants have been unfairly targeted during Trump's presidency.
I'm not sure.
I'm not
yeah.
sure on that one.
I don't have the details. It's like the questions like from the experts with ICE or with immigration or with some people who are on a
Well,
right.
the immigration, it could be the illegal or legal. So, I mean, I'm an immigrant, but then I trying to be fit in America. So, I don't know
President
that.
Trump did so much to try to help DACA kids, but it was
Yes.
politically shot down by the Democrat Party. President Trump wants America to be safe for us. When 20 million people flood your country from all over the world, including the Middle East, including China, from Turkey, the UN had a treaty called the Third Safe Country Act that if you were in danger in your country, you were allowed to go as a refugee, the first country out of 3 countries that would be safe. People weren't doing that. They were flying into Colombia, coming up through the Darien Gap, which used to be a pristine jungle in the Amazon that is now littered with decomposed bodies. So if you're into climate change, there's about 60 tons of trash down there too. But they were coming through the Darien Gap paying coyotes, being raped, being murdered. And then they had to pay the cartels up to $18,000 to cross our border. So a lot of these migrants living in our country now from those 4 years are working as slaves
Yeah.
in servitude to pay the
The
cartels
question was
back.
different.
Yeah.
It was a different question.
To the question, sorry.
Well, it's
Are they being targeted unfairly? Immigrants being here?
I
from-
don't think so.
I think the media is to blame for that because it's just like it just gets really sensitized, emotionalized, and I'm like, to your point, I'm like, I don't know.
I'm not
I'm
targeted.
not in there. Yeah, I don't feel,
Targeted?
But then
Yeah.
again, maybe because I don't have my accent, people think I'm American. I don't know.
I feel a
but-
target because, I have an accent and people think like, I don't like when people ask those questions like, oh, did you cross the border? Or did you come here legally? Like, if I'm here and, in a media outlet, yes, because, if I was out of status, I would never come here because then I would be like a huge target, right? I think with the immigration right now is targeting legal and also illegal immigrants, and that's my point. We all feel a target because we don't fit in or we don't blend in, especially I don't look like a white American. I look from outside, right? I look an outsider. So how can you fit in or how can you blend in or how can you not feel a target?
See,
when people
I think somebody's laid that fear on you though, because honestly, I look at you.
And you look white to
You
me.
look well. You look American. There's so many people.
It's
in
funny
America.
to you. A lot of people say that I'm not white, and funny because
Yeah,
in
but see,
Brazil
I
I
don't
am
think it should
white.
be about
Well,
race.
I don't
Why are we
think,
getting into
but I
race?
mean,
So-
you said that you felt different, and I wouldn't know. Like, and
Yeah.
looking at you,
You
I
speak
wouldn't.
really good
I
English.
wouldn't know.
I
I wouldn't
think,
know anything about you. I would just assume you're American. You're fine. I don't look at individuals and say what's your immigration status.
Yeah.
I kind of feel understand about her, but then and also, I think you're taking as a personally, because
Yeah.
I got that feel too. I have an accent in my English. I am working at the elementary school as a staff, supervising kids and helping teachers. And they laugh at me, some kids. And then they ask me to say that again with English, and I know what they're doing. But then at first I got embarrassed, but then they're just kids.
Yeah.
When I speak English, some words make sounds funny. First I got upset and shy, but then later on, they're just kids. I'm taking it as a personal. So I just shook it off and then said it again to them. Laugh at me. That's okay.
Yeah,
I am from Korea, and I need to learn this country's cultures and English. There's so many things to learn. We are both of us are progressing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm taking as. So then I don't feel embarrassing anymore. I don't feel that way anymore.
Yeah, we have a friend that ran for the state senate, and her accent's way thicker than yours.
Oh.
Like way thicker than yours.
I should run
I
as
think
well.
that you should know. I mean, I have so many friends with accents. My husband has an accent, and somebody's instilling that fear in you. If I walked into you in the middle of the street, I wouldn't know you hadn't lived here your whole life. Did somebody are you hearing that from people? Oh, you better be afraid, or the media? What's driving that fear in you?
Thanks for asking. And I don't think that's a funny question, Melissa. So anyway, so my ex-husband used to say that our arguments was because I don't speak English and I don't understand the culture. And since I have been here, I have been learning and trying to improve my way of speak, my intonation, my pronunciation. When I'm giving my opinion, I'm also talking about my friends and what I listen from them, right? So my immigrant friends. So they feel a target right now.
Well,
and before they were not feeling a target. And when I'm giving my opinion, I'm expressing from my personal point of view, but also from my friends' personal point of view as immigrants.
and it sounds like this man really hurt you.
Yeah.
And I would love to have Adam to tell you the truth. As woman to woman, any man that treats a woman like that, you're a child of God.
Yeah.
You are to be honored as a daughter of Christ. And for any man to abuse that power on you and hurt you the way that he did, boy, I'd love to meet that guy. I'd tell him a few things myself, and I'm so sorry again that you went through that. You
I
didn't
think
deserve it.
Her opinion of America has been jaded because of that.
That jerk.
And
boom.
and because of that, it's very sad, because at the end of the day, we're all here to be Americans. And I think we all have to ask ourselves, as immigrants and non-immigrants, do you think you are a loyal American? Can you say, I am more loyal to America than my own country? That's, if you can say, America first, I'm an American, that says it all. But if there's a reservation, then I think that's where the issues we're having here as immigrants and Americans.
Why we cannot be loyal to our culture, country, and here as well?
That's why we're here.
You know, when you swear the oath to the United States, you swear to bear the arms on the behalf of the United States. That's kind of a big deal, you know. I mean, especially
Against
in my
all
case.
enemies,
Foreign and domestic.
I wanna, if you allow me, you know, I feel like we all been bullied one way or another, the women in life, the women of color, you know, accents and all that stuff. But you know what's amazing about this country? You can stand up for yourself. You can just stop and, you know, I mean, I carry my passport card just in case, you know, just to be protected. You know, probably in a perfect society I shouldn't have, but I'm carrying it. It's not a problem for me. It's an extra idea I always have on me. But you can always, the system allows you to go, if something happens to you, to go after federal law enforcement. You know, I mean, it takes money, takes effort, but this country, unlike any country in the world, allows you to stand up for yourself. And you really should take that power, not allowing anybody to bully you.
So I have a question. You know, we on this side of the aisle, unfortunately, due to the media and other things, we are not these evil people, and I think that our side's taken a lot of abuse. You're a Nazi, you're a racist, you're this, you're that. And there's nothing further from the truth. We're people that love this country, watched a lot of lawfare against our favorite president, Russiagate, impeachment 1, so forth and so forth. And we have been painted as uncaring people. And I have to say, as you know, just looking at you, for instance, I have nothing but love for you guys.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Respect.
But at the
Waters of
same
respect.
time, I think for MAGA women, our biggest thing, again, is what happened over the last 8 years. The invasion, and it was an invasion. And so I think that we hopefully are bridging a gap here, because I have nothing but love and respect for each and every one of you. And I wish nothing but good things for your lives.
And the same, we could say, I believe we could collectively say the same for you all too. Yeah. Just that love and respect.
And we love to be here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be living here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I choose to come to America. So I think if you're here, you should follow here. Whatever they ask you. I mean, it's not whatever, but then people are trying to keep their own culture, but you gotta have a balance. Because if you wanna keep your own culture, and you should go back, but if you wanna here, you adopt this culture, and then my culture, utilize to my family. So you have to balance out.
Yeah.
Keep
Well,
the
and I
diversity, but
think-
keep the diversity, but know your priorities. America first.
Because you're here.
America
'Cause you
first.
choose to be here.
Yeah,
So-
well, and we welcome those that love our country. You know what I mean? We welcome those that want to keep their cultures, because your cultures are beautiful.
Beautiful. Make our
You
country
know,
better.
celebrations that are in Brazil, the Mardi Gras, all of that stuff.
Carnival.
Yeah,
Carnival.
Yeah, but the mass, it's still mass. But those are all great things.
Yes.
Now, where I can see something that I will never want to see assimilated into this nation, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, is, for instance, an Eastern thing where they think it's okay for a 60-year-old man to marry a 9-year-old. I will never be okay with that morally. Those are things I do not want assimilated into our nation.
I was going to say, to your point where we talked earlier about the traditions and values of this country, being Judeo-Christian, there's a reason why that standard's there.
Right.
So what you're talking about, the whole Middle Eastern marrying off the young female bride, like, no, that doesn't jive over here that way, right?
Yeah.
And so, like Joyce was saying, having that balance, but then also the standard, the priority, making sure that we come alongside that and keep it where it's at. So
Yeah.
that's what I was saying.
And the final prompt is, I believe undocumented immigrants should have a path to citizenship.
It's not a yes or no question.
I know it's very complicated.
Yeah.
It is.
Kind of like this.
Yeah.
Can I go sideways?
I know, right? Then you can't see one side.
You should have maybe, something. There's third option. It's like on the one side, as again, immigrant from Russia. I mean, not something that happened in last 4 years, or maybe through Obama administration. All this illegal crossing. This is wild for me. I mean, it would never have happened in Russia. I don't think Europe has that amount of illegal immigrants just crossing in. At one hand, people are breaking the law, and I think it's a misdemeanor when you do it for the first time. You deport it, you get come back. It's already it's a
felony.
It's
second
a criminal
time.
second. So it is breaking the law of the country you want to be in. At the same time, we see. I mean, people are coming for a better life, right? We all came here for a better life. We kind of lucked out a little better with all the trauma we had to go through. Yeah. We became a little lucky. I won a green card. I won my. I just became lucky. I was a green card winner of green card, and you see the people who are struggling, people who want to make their life for their children is better, and they do everything they can, right, to come cross and do something about their lives, and it's admirable and commendable. And then we have DACA, right? People who brought here as a children 30 years ago, and they're American now. So that's why it's difficult. There should be something. Some immigrants should get the path to citizenship.
But there is a path. There is a path. You go back to your country and you get in line. There is a path.
Yeah, or you get married.
Yeah. Or you get married.
Or you get married. Yeah.
I just think that anyone who enters a foreign country, whether it's America or Russia or any country that's not their homemade land, I think they just need to go through the legal process properly as respect to that homeland. So I think everyone should have an opportunity if they go through the steps properly, regardless if they're documented or undocumented.
I think my position is a little bit of both. I wish I could do sideways because we have DACA kids. I think Trump tried in 2018 to make DACA legal for those DACA kids because they were documented. In a sense, the DACA kids did file and they went through a process, and so they're in a system. But they're not. They have no real legal status. And so Trump made that. He tried to build a bridge to the Democrats on that, but they wanted it as a political weapon. So they voted no.
And they ruined it for him.
They voted no, and all he was asking was that we could control the border. That was
Build
the exchange. He said, "I'll make DACA kids legal, but we gotta build the wall. We gotta get our borders handled." And the Democrats said no. So they threw all those DACA kids under the bus for political reasons. And that's a shame. And I see also that the politicians have used illegal immigration as a economic tool here in California especially. And these folks have been coming across the border because they believe there's work, and there is, because we know there is work. And I feel, because I was in the restaurant business, I saw that I would get workers, and I was not allowed by the state of California to ask their legal status. If they handed me a Social Security card, I had to take that card, give them their I-9, and that was it. We were not allowed to question. And that was state law. So the state of California has put these things into play to keep these folks marginalized and in the shadows. So I feel that in some ways, the politicians have abused some of these folks that are living here illegally. And I believe if they've worked or paid taxes and because they couldn't afford or they tried, I don't know, that's why I'm saying I'm on the side. I think that there are some that should have a pathway to citizenship, but definitely DACA kids, because we know that that's a program and it's out there and it's still in limbo. But I don't believe in amnesty. I don't believe in blanket amnesty. We've done that before, and it's really what the Democratic Party wants, is because that's how they feel they're going to maintain power.
Because it does skew
and
the
in the state of
congressional
California,
districts.
we are under one party rule. And it was just like, you had said, when you have that kind of power, you will abuse it. And we do not live in the state of California that is equally represented between, if you want to call it Republicans and independents and Democrats. We are under one party rule. It is tyranny in this state. And so we cannot have just blanket amnesty, because this state will never recover.
Just one thing about that too, and I totally agree with what June is saying. And again, I think that our politicians have used these people. If there's somebody that's here illegally over the last 4 years and they are in a bad situation, if they owe the cartels $18,000 and they're working here as slaves for free, you can use the CBP Home app, and President Trump will put you in line, and you'll get $1,000 plus a plane ticket home and an opportunity to come back to the country. I know that they're saying now that, hey, if we deport you, you're never coming back. And I would hate that for anyone. But there's a lot of people living in the shadows, living under abusive situations because they're having to live in the shadows. And I can't stand by as a country that abolished slavery, knowing that we have modern day slaves in our country today.
I concur on that.
These children, are they being raped daily? These labor traffic kids that were found at Glass House Farm, lucky for them. Some of these kids have been sold into organ harvesting, but the fact that anybody that crossed that border in those 4 years owes the cartels $13,000 to $18,000, and this is all very well documented, they're literally slaves in our country right now, and that is wrong.
They will never pay that off.
Well, if they're allowed to pay it off.
Yes.
I think some immigrants should have, and that's why I'm like, some shouldn't, some should not definitely not criminals whatsoever. DACA kids, it's a very complicated situation because your parents come here, they overstay or they cross. Like, what is your situation, right? You're a kid. Like, what are you supposed to do?
I think we all agree
I
they
think we
should
all
have
agree
a path.
that DACA
Yeah.
should be taken care of.
For people who are seeking asylum, you know, like in Brazil, we have a very high crime, like, we have like hate on people who are LGBT. So they come here and they try, you know, they want to start a new life, they want to have an opportunity and feel safe. Because in Brazil, you can be a target, like if you are LGBT. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. So, but some people just misuse the asylum visa, lying that they are being, you know, that they are a target, or maybe if you are from Central America or Mexico, that, oh, if I go back to my country, you know, the cartel is going to be waiting for me or has murdered my family. So if you have proof, you know, to prove that you cannot go back to your country because of the cartel situation or your family has been murdered, I think you should have the right to stay here and start a new life. But I think there are a lot of people lying, because I also hear about it, and I also know some people that has like got married to get a green card, or has lied about being a target back in the home in the country, in their home back country. So I think the process should be more analyzed. So that's why I'm like, some should have the right for citizenship and some shouldn't.
Well, and we don't want America to change, because we have to remember some really bad people crossed along with the good people in that 4 years. Tren de Aragua, you're talking about cartels and gangs. What happens if they all move here? Because asylum, you know, a lot of them lied to get here. So yes, some great people came, but they broke our law coming into the country. But some really bad people came
but
too.
It's kind of legal to break the law because you can cross. They let you cross,
Well, I
and
thought
then
no
you can
one was
file
above
for
the law.
asylum.
No one was above the law just recently.
I know
but it
people that
seems
has
how come
crossed.
illegals are above the law?
And they let you in, and they let you stay.
That
so
was
you can
because
file.
Biden.
That was during Biden.
That was
Biden
during the
did
Biden administration.
94 repeals of laws. They didn't implement catch and release. Donald Trump hasn't changed any laws since he's been back in office. They're just enforcing the law now. These are all laws that were already in place. But Joe Biden entered us into the Global Compact of Migration with the UN. NGOs were making billions of dollars
NGOs.
on human suffering. Do you know how much money these people made? Billions and billions of dollars. They didn't care if these migrants were raped, murdered, killed. They were making money. This was a $1 billion business of trafficking people to our border, putting them in our country, and then making them human slaves.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, again, I agree, we don't need to make the system harder to immigrate here,
Yeah.
but definitely the enforcing, just refining and reforming the system.
Yes.
It's
Right.
broken.
Yes,
you
it's
It
know?
is
broken.
very broken.
And so the good are coming in with the bad, but then we need to really get on the, okay, who the heck is coming in here,
Exactly.
vetting them, and having a pathway. Like, it's just, that's what I'm hearing.
How do you protect them from a system that has put them in the shadows?
We have a moral obligation to protect
American
immigrants. Because
citizen
as a
Jocelyn
Christian,
Nungary.
we are obligated to protect immigrants. Now, there's nothing that says, are we obligated to break the law and protect illegal immigrants?
Well, we also have to look at Americans. Rachel Moran was a mother of 5. She's dead, murdered. 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary, raped, strangled, by 2 Trinidad members and thrown into a ditch.
We had that boy in Oxnard.
Little boy, yep, Oxnard, California, less than 40 minutes from here. Found a 12-year-old little boy, an illegal immigrant, had started a soccer website to coach little boys. Turns out he was raping boys everywhere and murdered a little boy whose body they just dumped. We've got to find these criminal immigrants. The one thing I could say to everybody here, call your state legislature, tell them to stop playing politics with these people's lives and let local law enforcement work with ICE.
I forgot your name there, but you were talking about Eve. So you mentioned that it's our we're not responsible for the illegal immigrants, you're saying, like in terms of their protection and whatnot?
Yes, the only reason why is because, yes, we are to embrace immigrants. But at the same time, we have a moral obligation to follow the law.
Right.
So by us helping illegal immigrants, that's breaking the law, so that's against our Judeo Foundation Christian values too.
I would argue that I would say the higher law is as a human being now. So if you're illegal and I see you getting abused, I'm like, okay, hold on, you're not a citizen, but as a woman now, as a human being, I'm gonna do what I can to protect that. If I saw my daughter, somebody else's daughter getting abused, yeah, I'm gonna put that aside.
That,
You know what I mean?
yes, I agree with that, but we're
liable.
talking generally speaking as far as do we protect the immigrant versus the non-immigrant. That's what
I think
if I had to make a choice.
Yeah.
I think I want to maybe clarify a little bit.
Keep it concise, and we're moving on.
I think that when we're talking about immigrants that are being, like at the glass house that we found minors that were being trafficked, we have a moral obligation to help those individuals that were being trafficked. Does it mean a path to citizenship? No, but I believe that we as Americans and as our institutions should help those individuals get back to their families, get back to their country, and help them. Absolutely.
Or there might be a path there to citizen, based case by case. You don't know because we can't blanket everybody.
I'd like to
under
get them back to their families.
wherever that is.
Actually, there is a visa for the abused kids.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I think the president should take care of the immigration and how it is a little bit messy. In my opinion, it's messy, but also take care of the economy. I think everything is so expensive right now. I think we all, Americans, immigrants, we need to have support from our president to have a better life, better jobs, and more opportunities, because right now it's very hard to get a job, 9 to 5, 100K job. Our eggs is, $15. So I wish, the president would focus more on that.
Well,
just my opinion.
I just want you ladies to know how much I appreciate all of you, that I have nothing but love and respect for you. And I think that we can all agree that we would like to find these trafficked kids, and we would like our government to stop playing politics with people's lives. We do need a secure border, and we do need to vet the people that come in here. Would we all agree with that?
And I hope that this opens a conversation so other people in their neighborhoods can start talking together without getting upset.
And to wrap this up, I think we all agree that we live in a great country.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful to be here. I love, this is my second home. It's my home, but it's my second home. I'm still very Russian.
Which we love.
But, it's a great country. It's going through the turmoil. Let's have these conversations and let's figure this out.
Amen to that.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you got to get your mic off.
Amazon Fresh eggs are $2.99.